Nowhere in the West is truck driving a cinch. Certainly not along the route of our tanker, which by now has a second driver behind the wheel. In rugged country like this, a man must have stamina and plenty of it. But so must the truck. It takes powerful, modern equipment, regularly maintained, to stand the gas. That it can haul 8,000 gallons in a single load is a real tribute to the designers and builders of such equipment. Only a few years ago, several smaller trucks were required to haul the same load. And yet this tanker takes up no more space on the highway than its counterpart of yesterday. The net result, of course, is that progress in truck design is helping to solve the serious problem of highway congestion. At the point of delivery, however, high capacity has an entirely different meaning. For the filling station owner, with this one load, can oblige over 500 motorists who drive up and say, "Fill her up, please." Though the tanker driver covers his route regularly and is apt to take the magnificent scenery for granted, his job has a worthy purpose. He is really an advanced guard depositing supplies of gasoline for an army of vacationing motorists. And remoteness is no barrier, for there are few places that an automobile can go that have not already been supplied by a tanker. In every state of the Union, there are some communities that are wholly dependent on the truck driver for their supplies of essential commodities. This is particularly true in the vast areas of the Great West, where literally thousands of towns have no other means of supply. Sedona, Arizona is such a town. Here, the grocery store, hardware, meat market, clothing store, filling station, all depend entirely on the motor truck as their lifeline of supply. Of course, truck service is not limited to the isolated community. Trucks are constantly traveling the supply lanes of the nation, regardless of other transportation facilities. Supplying the needs of larger communities is the principal job of the trucking industry in general, as it is for the fleet of system tankers. Still more important is the vital job of supplying the needs of national defense. Trucks, flexible and decentralized and invulnerable to total knockout, stand ready to serve the nation in time of war or other emergency as no other form of transportation can. Calling at a huge Air Force training base in the hot expanse of the Arizona desert, a system driver brings a full load of jet fuel for the sleek fighter planes of tomorrow's jet pilots. He will dump his load in huge underground storage tanks, supplying enough fuel for a whole flight of jet fighters to reach Seattle non-stop. Thus is the romantic job of the tanker driver, whether he delivers gasoline for the motorist, oil for industry, or fuel for national defense. Hardly less romantic is the job of the driver of our freight truck, now piloted by a third relay driver. Skimming across lakes and rivers and through verdant mountains, the truck is more than halfway to Spokane. The average age of these highway pilots is 30 to 45 years, a good age for the responsibility of the job. Becoming an interstate truck driver is not an easy attainment. He must be at least 21 years old and have gained previous driving experience on a smaller truck before he may be assigned to a big rig like this. But even with years of experience, he is not assured of getting a job driving a West Coast truck. For every new applicant for a driver's position must first take a student trip over a regular company route under the watchful eye of a veteran diesel truck driver. Nowhere is the freight driver's prowess put to such a test as on the snow and ice-covered mountainous highways of the Northwest. Here, along his route through central Oregon, he must be especially attentive to the hazard of skidding and know from past experience when to put on his chains. As the driver leaves Oregon, he crosses the most prominent state boundary line of the West, the broad Columbia River. While the Columbia is an excellent highway for tugs and river barges, to our truck driver it is but a momentary barrier that slows his progress. Nevertheless, in the long run, his crossing by ferry, which takes 8 minutes, saves time and fuel, for he would have to travel some 40 miles along the river road to cross at the nearest bridge. Because it's a tremendous and costly engineering feat to span this mighty river, bridges are few and far between along its 1,200-mile length. Ferrying trucks across the Columbia, incidentally, presents an unusual sight. It is one form of public transportation giving a lift to another, but not for free. The truck pays $2 to cross. It's a happy arrangement for the truck driver, who saves himself miles of driving, and for the ferry captain, whose partner in public service is one of his best customers. There are some 40-odd trucks crossing every day, as well as a regular stream of passenger cars. Shortly after entering Washington, the fourth relay driver, who took the wheel back in central Oregon, will turn the rig over to the fifth and final driver in this 5-man relay team. Although the truck driver occasionally finds an opportunity to be a good Samaritan along the highway, he is not alone. For company-owned safety cars also help the motorist in distress. These safety cars, traveling regular truck routes, have the dual purpose of checking the over-the-road operation of company cargo trucks and offering free assistance to stranded motorists. For emergency roadside help, the patrol cars carry spare parts and tools, a complete first aid kit, and containers of extra gasoline, water, and motor oil. Along company routes, it is common to see a patrol car putting in a new fan belt, repairing a broken fuel line, or fixing a flat for the unfortunate autoist who picked up a stray nail. During summer, the most frequent stops are made to quench the thirst of steaming hot radiators. Sharing the facilities of these patrol cars with all motorists is the company's way of saying thank you to the public it serves. Two nights and one day have passed since the truck left Los Angeles. 5 drivers have piloted the big rig through cities and farmlands, through forests and plains, through valleys and over mountains. And now, with the long haul almost over, the truck is approaching the city of Spokane. Every day, some 130 long-haul runs come to an end at freight terminals all over the company's network of truck routes. As he pulls into the terminal at Spokane, our number 5 driver ends another routine trip on schedule, 40 hours out of Los Angeles. In but a few hours, his load of nearly 100 shipments for as many customers in Spokane will be on store shelves throughout the city. Before the day's end, the same trailer will be reloaded and on its way again, carrying the products of eastern Washington to the merchants of California. Another trip in the never-ending cycle of delivery by truck, 365 days a year. America can truly be proud of her truck drivers, stalwart men of the highway. Their restless wheels, like the endless sands of time, roll on through day and night, never ending, never quiet, bringing to their countrymen the rich abundance of America's productive genius.